Hi, it's me again, it's Katie, and I'm here to talk to you about pre-mash texture. So this is the texture based on the national descriptors for the United Kingdom. Below, down there, is a link in the comments section to tell you that you can link through to the national descriptors on the internet, so you can print that off and keep it safe, put it up somewhere. If you're in a place where you work with people with dysphagia and you've got loads of staff in your team, put it up on the wall in the kitchen where people are going to be cooking so they can see it really clearly when they're preparing food. But in this video, we're going to go through what exactly it means to be a pre-mash texture. How do you know you've got it right? How do you know if you need to adapt it a bit further because it's not quite there? Okay, hope you enjoy. But don't forget to like and share and subscribe for updates and new videos. Thank you.
Adapting foods to that texture means that when you serve the food or when you're about to eat the food, it should be soft, tender and moist, but it needs very little chewing this time. So that's different from the fork mashable texture because it's been mashed up before it's been served. It needs very little chewing because you've done some of the hard work already to prepare it to be a soft enough texture to be mashed. Because it's got to be moist, you're generally going to need a sauce on there. So you've got to make sure that if you've got that sauce, it's really thick and it's smooth. Okay, so no like really thin liquids that are just going to run off and leave chunks of meat and liquid running around everywhere at a really fast pace. No, that's wrong. It's got to be thick and it's got to be smooth. So because foods have to be a soft, tender and moist consistency and then mashed, you can't have foods that are going to have fibres, tough skins, seeds, shells. You can't have bones in there and skin and gristle because those foods aren't soft, they're not tender, they're not moist and they won't mash. It's also pretty difficult to make sticky foods like very sticky cheeses or marshmallows soft, tender and moist and mashable. Okay, so again, if it's a sticky texture, that's a no-no for a pre-mash. Also foods, again, that are very floppy, you know, like your lettuce, like your uncooked spinach leaves. They're not really going to mash, are they? And you wouldn't describe those things as being soft, tender and moist. So again, in the primary form, before we've cooked them or adapted them in any way, we need to avoid foods that are very floppy like that. And finally, of course, you can't offer foods that are really hard or tough, very fibrous or chewy, or things that are really dry and really crumbly or have sharp crisp bits, because remember, if we're going to offer food adapted to a pre-mash texture, that means any foods that are like that need to be adapted so that the texture that they are when they're eaten is soft, tender and moist and it's been mashed. So now you're thinking, well, that's great, but that more or less rules out all the food that I love, or 90% of the food that's available. But don't worry, that's exactly why this vlog is being made, because what we're saying is it doesn't mean you can't have foods that are those textures when you buy them or when you get them fresh. But what we need to do is think of really creative, fantastic ways to cook them, prepare them, adapt them, so that we still get the amazing flavours of those foods, we still get all the nutritional value of those foods, but at the point when we eat them, they're soft, tender, moist, they've been mashed. Voila, that is what we're doing. That's what this vlog's all about. So a few tips for you. Meat. We're talking your pork chops, your gammon steaks, your chicken breast, your slices of bacon, okay? If you want to eat these, and one way of doing it is, once they're cooked, is to finely mince them, okay? So pieces are literally like 2 millimeters in size. You've not got any hard bits of mince in them, and then you've got a really thick, smooth sauce or gravy with it, so it's lovely and moist, but it's that mash texture. It's that tiny pieces of mince, okay? Now for fish, obviously that's a lot softer. It flakes apart, it's got some natural moisture to it, it's juicier than those kind of steak like tough textured meats. So for fish, you can probably just cook the fish and then just finely mash it and then have a lovely thick, you know, creamy parsley sauce or something like that on it. So really thick, smooth sauce, finely mashed. for fish. Now for fruit, this can be a bit more difficult. So think about your canned fruits. They're a lot kind of softer, aren't they? Melon or a peach that's been canned, you could drain away any juice that was with it and then mash it up and then serve it. For fruits that are harder, like your apples or your pears, then you might want to stew those and then serve them stewed. You could put a little bit of sugar on it, and it'd be like a delicious dessert. If you're making a casserole or a curry or a stew, any sauce you have needs to be thick, any meat needs to be broken down and small and mashed, and that goes for your vegetables, no skins or pips or anything we've talked about before. Combine them together so they're one lovely thick consistency. Don't put herbs on top like in this picture. So we're keeping going, soft, tender, moist, thick sauce and mash. So let's think about cereals. Porridge, Weetabix, they're ideal as long as this milk's been fully soaked up. Adding a delicious dollop of jam in there will give you that lovely fruity flavour as well, without having to have the actual fruits that have the skins and the hard bits in. It can't have any loose fluid that's separating off. If you want to do like your cereals, like your cornflakes or that sort of thing, they need to be soft and tender and have no loose thin fluid. Watch out for my cereals vlog, which is coming soon, because I can give you some great tips on how to do this. Finally, for desserts, where the options seem a lot easier because we're much more used to having things that are a smooth or mashed texture for dessert. For yogurts, they shouldn't have any bits, so think thick and smooth. For things like cake, you want a soft sponge cake with no bits of fruit or anything, so a smooth sponge cake with a smooth filling, and then what you could do is add some cream or add some custard and mash it before you serve it. Ice cream and jelly are best to avoid, I'm sorry, but they're just difficult, and especially if you need your thickened fluids. When you think about it, ice creams are solid, but the minute it gets in your mouth, with the heat of your mouth, you then melt it, so it then turns into a thin fluid that you need to control and prepare your body to swallow, which can be really hard. Jelly, it's wobbly, it's slippy, it's a right beast. It can slip around your mouth, and before you know it, it's slipped back and gone into your airway. Remember, if someone wants these flavours, we can do it. We just have to do them in a different way.
Watch the videos on the vlog and we'll do it together. Thanks for watching this vlog explaining what the pre-mashed texture means. Remember, that's the whole point of the vlog, that we're going to run through loads of different foods and we're going to show you exactly how to make things to the texture descriptors. So don't worry at this stage if you find it a bit confusing. Don't forget to share the videos with anyone that find it useful. I hope you found it useful, and please leave comments, like, share and subscribe, of course, for more videos, and you'll get notifications of when new videos are being posted. Thanks a lot. See you soon.